Okay, I'm going to call the Conservation Advisory Council meeting to order at 6:16 on January 11th. And we have Julie Noble, Emily Hauser, Helen Atkinson, Kevin McAvoy, Anita Collins, and Ted Grease. So, yeah, so does anyone have any, has everyone looked at the agenda, and does anyone have any oh, and so Julie, I'm sorry, so there are no guests at this time. And did you need to go over the meeting protocol?
Sure, just for the record, if there are any guests that attend that are interested in speaking, they will be entering in attendee mode, which is a view only mode. And if they would like to speak or be recognized, they can raise their hand and we will recognize them, or they can type something into the chat and we will recognize them in that way.
Okay, thank you. And is there any modifications to today's agenda? Okay. The next thing on the agenda is the elections for chair, vice chair, and secretary. So right now I'm the chair and Kevin is the secretary, and I don't believe we have a vice chair. That's right. So I'm going to ask for nominations for chair.
And I nominate you again, Emily.
Okay. Any other nominations for chair? Okay, nominations for secretary.
I nominate Kevin again. Is that all right, Kevin?
Okay. All right, and since we don't have a vice chair, we could have nominations or volunteers. Are there any volunteers that would like to be nominated?
Is the responsibility of that position just standing in when the chair is not available?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not volunteering.
Well,
Can we nominate Sebastian without him being here, since he has the most experience?
yeah, we could.
Okay.
I think we
then
could. Yeah.
I nominate Sebastian.
Okay. That's good. And all right, so I'm going to present the slate and we can vote for all of them at once. So
You
the
need
slate
seconds.
is,
You need seconds.
oh, can we have seconds for the nominations of
I'll
this?
second.
Okay,
Let me make sure I got
All
the
right.
firsts and the seconds. On the chair, Anita, you were
the
first?
chair and the secretary was Helen for both.
Helen
And
first.
the vice chair was Sebastian, was Ted.
Right, that I got. Okay. it was Helen.
Okay,
And then I
Uh,
seconded the,
You're
Motion.
seconding all three, Anita?
sure.
Okay. Okay.
all right. So then how do we vote for the slate? I mean, are we supposed to be just raising our hands, or do we have to do a poll or something?
See if anybody, if you abstain and I abstain, Sebastian's not here. Do we have a quorum still? 3 out of 5.
There are 6.
3 out of 6.
Why can't we vote for ourselves?
I usually don't, but I guess you
If
could.
we can't vote for ourselves, then we'll vote individually, and then you can vote for me and I'll vote for you.
Yeah, I can do that too. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have the vote for vice chair of Sebastian Pilateri. Raise your hand as a aye. Okay,
Aye.
it's 5-0. Okay, and then we're going to vote as secretary as Kevin McAvoy.
Okay, now,
Okay, so we have 4 and 1 abstention.
okay, 4 and 1, yeah. And then,
Okay, and then we're going to vote for chair of Emily Hauser,
I,
and we have 4 and 1 abstention.
okay. I'm not sure we need the abstentions, but I'm not gonna read this right now. No,
Okay. Thank you.
okay.
All right. So did we move? Wow, this is cool. You, committee liaisons.
Hmm.
Is that, I'm sorry, is that to appoint liaisons at the
That's-
beginning of the year?
And basically, since
Yeah.
we discussed it at the last meeting, it's just to reaffirm all the liaisons that
Okay.
were discussed for the year.
Okay, so we're reaffirming the liaisons. So right now we have Complete Streets as Helen Atkinson, Planning Board Liaison Kevin McAvoy, Public Safety Ted, Zoning Committee Kevin, Climate Smart Kevin, Ulster County Environmental Management Emily, and Tree Commission Anita.
Mhm.
And there are no other ones right now, right? Like nothing in Engage Kingston. Those are the main ones. Okay,
Let me
so are we just gonna affirm that?
go through the-
Okay, so we're just reaffirming that. Does anyone have any concerns or with me? And, okay, so what about, okay, so Ted, you're going to public safety and you'll contact someone if you can't make it?
Yeah.
Well, that goes for anyone. If someone can't go, you can always ask someone else to attend. All right.
Okay.
Okay, review and approval of the December monthly meeting minutes. Julie and I both sent in comments.
Yeah.
Kevin, did you receive those?
Yep, all good, yep.
Okay. Yummies, let me see. So, does anyone have any concerns about the edits? Okay. All right. And I have a, can I have someone say they'll accept the minutes?
I'll move that we
Motion.
accept the minutes as
I second.
drafted.
All right. All in
I second.
favor? Oh, okay. All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay. So the next thing is old business with smoke air quality subcommittee. So Julie, do you want to take that or?
Yeah, I don't really have an update. Well, there is an update. As of January 1st, the city now has an new anti-idling legislation. So we adopted that last year. So starting effective 11 days ago, there's new legislation that is more stringent than the state's legislation. The state legislation states that heavy duty vehicles have to limit idling to 5 minutes. This states that all vehicles, regardless of weight class, have a 10-minute maximum limit. So this now applies to all vehicles. There are some exceptions, including emergency vehicles, folks that work out of their vehicle as their office space or workspace. And there's a heat and a temperature extreme that's accepted. But otherwise, it went into effect January 1st. We are in production of about 30 road signs that will be erected around town to alert people to this. And so we've determined those locations, and there's are being produced by DPW as we speak, and hopefully will get put up soon. And the legislation comes along with a fine. I believe it's $15 for the first offense and $40 for the second. And so hopefully this will help to curb idling and emissions due to idling. I'm not sure what the enforcement will be, but at the very least, having the signs up will be educational at the very least, because there will be signs all over town that remind people that they should not be idling. And so we're going to be putting some more information on the website as well. And once the signs and everything go up, the mayor will go out with more press about it. But that was as of January 1st. So that is exciting. I am still awaiting the draft MOU from BARD. Their legal team took a look at that, the MOU to agree to have the city having the air quality monitoring equipment on the roof of the Andy Murphy Center. Per our last discussion or meeting, I know that Eli wanted folks to take a look at that dashboard and provide any comments. If you haven't had a chance to do that, make sure you do that. I think I included that link in the email. And I guess that's probably it.
So doing that dashboard, that's up to us. And to fill out the comments, that's up to us, and there's no deadline or,
Yes. Yep.
okay.
That's all I have.
All right. Is there any other discussion on the air quality?
We're good.
Okay. Okay, so the next thing is open space planning. And so community preservation plan grant. Julie, do you
So,
want to do?
sure. I'm happy to say that I got a draft contract from the state today, which the mayor signed off on. So we are moments or days away from being in contract with the state. In the meantime, I did have the opening meeting with the project manager from the Hudson River Estuary Program, who is Ingrid Hakel, who I worked with on the natural resources inventory and open space plan. So I'm excited to continue to work with her on the community preservation plan. And in doing so, we discussed the timeline, which I drafted yesterday, and also discussed the issuing of the request for proposals. The timeline for the community preservation plan is such that the plan itself really is going to be done by the end of May and the beginning of June. And that will be presented to the council for adoption. And in order for it to be able to proceed to be as a referendum on the November ballot, it needs to be adopted as a local law. That both the plan needs to be adopted, the real estate transfer tax needs to be adopted, and that needs to go to the Board of Elections by August 8th. So that entire process has to be done by August 8th. And from August 8th on through November 8th, that's when the campaigning to pass the referendum will take place. So what is
Not the campaigning, the vote.
the vote will be on November 8th, but between August 8th and November 8th, that's
Oh,
what
okay.
what is great about this is that we already have the lion's share of the work done for the community preservation plan, really, because we have a very recent open space plan. which most other communities don't have that. So they're basically doing an open space plan at the same time. We already have that. And so effectively what we're looking for here is a prioritization to the parcel level of that open space information that we gathered already and the natural resources data. So we already have all the data and we already have the vision and the planning. So the request for proposals lays out the different documents that the planners will need to review. One of the questions that I had was for Kevin. And so for the historic data, is the only formal mapped data the one that we did for the natural resources inventory, or is there other digital GIS layers of historic data?
No, I think we did it.
Okay,
There is a PDF map at the back of the planning, online. When you go to
yep,
code section 405, you'll find some historic mapping there, but it's the GIS is us.
okay, that's what I thought. And my other question was, there isn't any kind of formal historic plan, right? There's no like, this is what should be preserved for historic stuff, or like, no, okay.
That was something Marissa Marvelli was trying to do, but she's done, with the city, so.
Okay, all right, that's fine. So I plan to circulate my draft RFP tomorrow to the folks from DEC and also my internal team here for review. And I hope to issue that RFP next week. Now our open space RFP was out for about 3 weeks. I anticipate that will be the case here as well. I would love if 1 or 2 of you would be interested in volunteering. Now, I will say that the time that anyone on the CAC spends on the community preservation plan is used as match time towards the grant. And I need to have about 150 hours total of community time on the grant to match the city, to match the grant award. I'm looking for at least 1 person from the CAC to serve on the RFP review team. So that would mean that once the request for proposals is out and on the date that we receive them, which that whole process happens by the city through our procurement office, but on the date that we receive the proposals, we'll have a matrix of criteria that is outlined. These are the things you're reviewing for. You would get a copy of each of the proposals that were submitted as part of the bid. You would review those proposals in their entirety using the criteria. You would rank them based on that criteria, and we would all meet together, myself, whoever represents a representative of the CAC, 1 or 2 or 3 if you wanted. And then I have a couple other staff that I have that I will be asking from the city. We'll sit down, we'll discuss our rankings, and we will then choose the community preservation plan vendor. The way that our request for proposals work is that we do not have to choose the lowest bidder. It's not a bid, it is a proposal submission. So we are choosing based on qualifications, not just on price. So we review based on qualifications and then separately review their offer. And basically, I would think that commitment would be a few hours of your time to read the proposals, depending on how many we get. Will depend on how long that takes. And I would assume an hour or an hour and a half max of a meeting together to go over the results. At this time, I don't necessarily think that we're going to need to have interviews, but if there were interviews, it would be another meeting of about an hour. So we're talking 10 hours or less, probably 6 hours or less of someone's time. Is there
in the
anyone?
next month.
This would be probably in either the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd week in February. I don't know yet.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, Helen, great. Anyone else want to?
I could.
Ada?
I've done grant reviews and be right in line with that. So, yeah.
Great.
That'd be great.
Once
And-
there is a consultant, I may have to review some of the ArcGIS files with them.
So subsequent, in the meantime, while the RFP is out into the world, I will be also forming a community preservation plan project advisory committee.
Mhm.
And that project advisory committee at this point seems like it's probably going to meet 4 to 6 times between now and July. And it will meet to once to probably for 1-hour meetings to meet the consultant one time and go over the scope of work. The second time to talk about prioritization and prioritization of you know, as a representative of for the PACs, the project advisory committee. A third time will be to go over, we're going to be doing some public surveys. So to go over the results of the surveys and the community input. And then a fourth time will be to review a draft. And then the fifth time probably would be the final presentation. And then there's going to be 2 public meetings. One is going to be at the beginning of the process and one at the end. And I would hope that the project advisory committee folks would attend that as well. So that is a longer commitment, although not a ton more time than the review committee, but it is over the period of the whole time. And that's just for the project advisory committee. Also, you know, providing data or providing input or providing technical assistance as appropriate through the process. So you don't need to let me know right now, but I am going to be formulating that project advisory committee within the next week or 2 weeks. So if that is something you're interested in serving on that project advisory committee, it is also volunteer. Please let me know. I would also think that some folks on the project advisory committee would stay through just the community preservation plan portion of it, and then others may continue on through all the way to the referendum to participate, to help with the campaign and the fundraising and everything to go beyond that part. I have to stop my involvement in July. Once the local law is passed, I'm not able to participate in the campaign or the fundraising, but I will be driving the ship at least until then. So if any of this feels like something you're interested in being involved in, please either tell me now or speak to me offline separately if you think that that is something you're interested in. And the project advisory committee, I would like it to be at least 6 people. I would hope that it would be more like a dozen.
So what are the criteria for the 6 to 12 people? I mean, because this is really our wheelhouse in a lot of ways, but I know you want to bring in some other experts.
The criteria are people that have an interest in preservation of open space in the city of Kingston and want to see it happen and be part of making it happen.
This is this like real estate? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to need like environmental-ish, natural history kind of people. I need real estate-ish type of people. I need landowner type of people. I need historic type of people, cultural.
Do they have to be residents of the city of Kingston?
No.
I have a young real estate friend who lives in Hurley, who I would like to maybe, let me talk to you about it offline, Julie. Is that okay?
Yep.
I think I'm gonna have to be involved in this, like, as I already explained, because of the GIS mapping, and together with you, Julie and Emily, I was part of the open space plan NRI committee. or whatever we wanted to call ourselves. I don't know if committee was quite the word, but yeah,
Great,
project group.
I'm interested in participating.
great. Thank you.
When
Yeah.
we get to the referendum, I'll have to think about that. I'm not equipped to do a referendum on my own. No,
I don't think anyone's equipped to do it on their own. It's gotta be a
no,
team.
no, that requires support,
Yes.
probably quite a bit of.
One of the things I have to, I'm also interested in this. What do you think is going to be the kind of the overlap and sequential and consecutive work that's coming through on the rezoning that would also pull people and their time and that kind of thing?
I'm gonna let Kevin speak to that. I will only say that according to discussions that I've had with the mayor, he is under the impression that during the course of this community preservation plan, we will have final mapping from the rezoning, including what he's calling a green map. And I don't know if he just called it a green map to me, because like we just were using green terms, or if the zoning folks are calling it a green map. I don't know, Kevin, can you speak to this?
Yeah, they put up some stuff on Engage Kingsman. I think we're jumping ahead to zoning down further in the agenda, but yeah, they had, I think I shared a synthesis map. They subsequently done a charrette summary with some of that information. I think the map I sent the link to had more information than what they have in the report. They had certain areas where they just sort of circled around it, and it wasn't quite right down to the parcel level, but I'm certain they have that information. And they do cover a lot of the open space plan. And did they call it a green map? I have to go look and see what they called it.
Yeah, so the reality is there's going to be some kind of map at least, and
Yeah.
in theory prioritization from their process
Mhm.
that will also feed into ours. I don't know what the rest of the commitment is for on that end. Like, I know that obviously Kevin seems like, I mean, Kevin is committed, but I don't know what else they're looking for from the general public and or us.
Right.
Right.
And I don't know the answer to that.
It's one of these documents.
He told me when he thinks that they're going to be done, but I can't remember if he said March or May.
It's really
more like
close.
May.
It's in the same, according to their map, they say, or their timeline, first draft is in March of the
Right.
form-based code. And then the draft generic environmental impact, and then the final draft of the code is early June. So it's really exactly the same timing,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yep.
Now, where do they put this thing?
So, yeah, so the question is there anything that the public or the CAC would be involved in with the form-based code, like reviewing the draft, that kind of thing? So that would be early March to early, or till sometime, for probably a month.
They do have what they're calling conservation areas on their digitized synthesis map. And the timeline is just what you said. I have that open as well. Yeah. So I'm going to go in tandem pretty much.
Yeah, and because I think these are all really important for the CAC. And but I'm just pointing out that it is a.
Yeah.
well,
Seems
if
like
you
we
plan
should
to go
have
to
our
Florida for
fingers
3
in
months.
conservation, preservation, environmental impact.
Yeah, well, what they did with the
Sorta.
open space areas, they have them in green. So if you just took that GIS layer out and expanded it to the parcel level, you would have a quote green map. And then you add the green line to it and the Brickyard Trail and some complete streets that are part of the green line, and you have a further green situation. So, yeah, that might be what Steve was saying. I don't know.
Okay. All right, so.
Okay, so are we gonna review the RFP?
Just, if anyone wants to review the RFP, I'm happy to have you review it, but that's gonna happen in the next 48 hours.
Of 48 before, and then you're sending it to DEC in the next 48 hours?
I'm sending it tomorrow to Ingrid at the DEC and to Emily Flynn, who is my co-project manager on this project. That's all I planned on sending it to, but if there's someone here that wants to review the RFP, I'm happy to send it to you, but the turnaround is that I'm going to need response back by the end of the day Thursday. Which basically means you'll have 24 to 48 hours to review it. If there's someone that wants to
I would-
review,
I would like to look at it.
I can look at it, yeah.
great.
Are you saying 5 o'clock on Thursday or?
Clock on Thursday, okay.
Yeah, that is going to depend on when I need to communicate tomorrow with our procurement office to see when he's going to be able to issue the RFP. That will determine when I need my comments back by. But
All right, well, if I can't get to it, I just can't get to it.
okay,
But I would like
I-
to try to
Yeah, I'm
get to
pretty
it.
sure I can squeeze this in, you know. we'll
Okay.
just- yeah.
the
Did-
RFP right now is 6 pages. It should take you less than 45 minutes to read.
Yeah, that shouldn't be, yeah, we can handle that.
And I mean,
Okay.
and I'm
And-
not circulating the entire thing with all of the mumbo jumbo. I'm literally just circulating the part that's specific to
Yeah,
the
Mhm.
community preservation.
yeah, the scope.
And
for
then
the-
are you sending it out to everyone, all the firms that you know, plus are you advertising it?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So I am sending it, we posted on Contract Reporter and all the state places that it needs to be posted. It gets put in the Daily Freeman. And I'm going to be directly sending it to all of the firms. So I have in my possession a copy of the community preservation plans from 6 communities. And I'm going to be sending it to the firms that did those. And I'm also going to be sending it to the firm that did our open space plan. If there's anyone in particular that you all think that I should be sending it to,
We have Behan from the Open
Yes.
Space Plan. Did you say John
Mhm.
Nicholson too? I'm not
I-
putting this in the minutes, we're not, you know,
I did, yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
send it to John Nicholson also.
okay.
But also anyone else, there's been other people that are working on all these other projects on Engage Kingston that some of them could potentially do this,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So,
So the kicker
What
is
did-
really going to be not necessarily if the firm can do it, it's going to be if the firm can do it in the timeline that we're suggesting.
right, right.
Did you include Barton and Lejudas in that?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Would it help us if we read these copies of the community preservation plans that have already been done, just to give us a better sense of what we can expect? Because could you just put those in like a shared drive or something? I'm
Yes.
sorry to make you have to work. but-
It's totally fine. I actually already have them there. So the towns are Blooming Grove, Chester, New Paltz, Red Hook, Warwick, and Southampton. One of those was done in-house and 5 of those were done by a firm.
Let me see, we
And
got-
were all of these, did all of them pass the first time around? Do you remember, do you know?
My understanding is yes, but I can't say that with certainty.
So these are Blooming Grove, New Paltz, Southampton, Warwick, and there was one other?
Chester,
Chester. Okay, so we got several in Orange County. Then we have New Paltz and Southampton. Okay.
And Red Hook, right?
And
Yep.
Red Hook,
Mhm.
and Red Hook, right. I missed Red Hook. Okay,
So-
yeah, And Red Hook.
Is there anyone that's trying to take the lead to get a group together for the referendum?
Not currently.
Okay, and then if you're interested, and then we could talk to you about suggestions for the PAC, the
Yes.
Project Advisory Committee. Okay.
Okay.
But, and with the referendum, are you speaking to somebody about it or a group? Other than,
I am going to, there are groups that will be engaged throughout the process, which include but are not limited to, where's my list here? Well, a lot of them are, at least the volunteers. Wait, that's not the list that I'm looking for. Where did I lose that? We're working on this all day. I definitely think that there's going to be involvement on, at least on the PAC, from the CAC, Live Well Kingston, the Kingston Land Trust, and Historic Preservation Commission. But I also am going to include the folks from the Farm Hub
Mhm.
and Friends of Historic Kingston and Kingston Rec Commission, Scenic Hudson, Common Council, the Tree Commission, Climate Smart, did I say that already?
That you got 12 there for sure.
Yep.
If everyone says yes, so.
Who at the Kingston Land Trust are you speaking to besides me?
Nobody yet. Do you want to be
Nobody.
the Kingston Land Trust representative?
I seem to be the default person there. On lots of stuff. It's just,
So, I mean, I'll reach out to you.
yeah, I guess
Kimberly, I
if they
think.
don't show up, I will be, yeah.
Okay, so I think I'll reach out to you offline to see, because
Yeah.
since a lot of these lists are all Kevin McAvoy lists, to see if there's
Yeah.
anyone else in addition
I
to you
get
that you
that.
feel like should represent these organizations.
Well, I think, yeah, I have ideas, but I don't know where they're at on it. And I think partly with them, I think we've discussed this several times already, is like they're a little bit hesitant to jump into the referendum portion of it.
Yep.
But I think this portion of it, they should look at.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and I mean, we got to get through this before we do anything else, so.
Okay.
Um,
I'm the Landmarks Commission person too, right? I don't think there's going to be anybody else there. Yeah,
goodness, you own so many hats, Kevin.
yeah. And probably the Heritage Area Commission too. Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So again, I will, anyone who is going to be doing anything related to the community preservation plan at all, really needs to log their time on it. So what time you started, what time you ended, and what you were working on. And what you were working on is just like, I was reviewing an RFP, I was participating in a meeting, I was providing data, gathering data, reviewing a draft, whatever it is. That's the only amount of detail that I'll need, and the time would be by the 15-minute period, and I will be asking you quarterly for that data. And I think that's all.
And she gives you a form to fill
And I'll
out.
give you a form.
And she can give you that form and you can
Yes,
handwrite it if you.
yes.
and
I will
you
circulate
really
the
want
form.
to keep track.
I will
Yeah.
put the form and the documents that are, or all the adopted plans in a shared drive so that you can see them. I
right.
will, yeah, that's all I have.
And we're using the independent sector hourly rate. I think
Yeah, I will include that.
that may have changed because it's now 2022. I think
Yeah.
every year they increase it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and actually, I feel
Yeah.
like I've been told a specific rate that we need to use. So I have to, for volunteers, because I feel like DEC cracked down on that, but I need to check in on what that is. I'll get
Yeah.
them. I will include that with the form.
Okay, my hours are usually pretty well documented.
Yes,
And I have a system for doing that, so I know when I was there. Yeah.
great.
In case, will it be Ingrid managing this project? Is
Yes,
that what you said? Yeah, okay, rather than Laura, right, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so anything more on the community preservation plan? In understanding it or anything else?
Oh, in that shared folder, I'm also going to just include a community preservation 101 presentation that was done by Scenic Hudson and others that basically explicitly and very clearly lays out what a community preservation plan is, what needs to happen, and then the second part of it goes through the campaign part of it. It is fantastic. It is explicit. It is easy. I printed it, so I have it as my cheat sheet here, and I will include this in the shared doc so that you all can have this cheat sheet as well.
That'll be great. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, there's nothing, I have nothing on the Nora, Connecticut plan. So the next thing is the Kingston Forward citywide zoning. Did everyone get an email from Dover Coal that said that they put some more material up on the website? I think they summarized their charrette.
Sure, I got
I
the
don't-
email from, but I have the information from Engage Kingston. I have all of that.
I don't know, someone sent it out. I don't know who sent it out,
I
but,
don't think I got it.
oh, okay, well, it's on Engage Kingston.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, I have all that. I
So-
have all that. That's what I was reading from earlier.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I just wanted, I just want to make sure that, you know, I think that, that they probably sent it to the people that had been on this various meetings. Okay, so you can read that and Engage Kingston. Is there anything else that that we want to cover in the rezoning that we haven't already
Yeah,
talked about?
one thing, I believe Dover Cole told Tanya in the last day or so, she's been speaking to Amy. Amy from Dover Cole, for those of you who don't know who Amy is, Amy Groves. She's one of the consultants. About them coming back in February to meet with a couple of the groups that they needed more information from. Now, I wasn't contacted, so I don't think they needed more information from me. I gave them a lot of stuff. And Emily, you weren't contacted either?
Not that I know of.
And no, okay. The gist of what Tanya told me was that it might be about affordable housing that they needed more information on, and they may want to speak to Rashida again and whoever else was attending a lot of those meetings. And I imagine Tanya will be attending it too, or maybe Anthony Jr. So
Okay, that's good.
I'm in touch with that ad hoc zoning group. That's,
Do we know yet if the new director of housing initiatives is like the point person on the city for that, the way Kevin was?
seems like it.
Okay,
And he started today. His name is Bartek.
yes.
Or, yeah, I haven't spoken to him, so we'll be in touch, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so the housing person who was Kevin Corte, right?
Yes.
He left and a new person has come on.
Yes.
And there was an article in the paper
Yes.
just trying to clear that up. And what's the new person's name?
Name is Bartek, Bartek. I do not know his last name. It starts with an S.
Yeah,
You may be able to
Add
look it up.
Put it in the chat.
You have his name? I have it in a different file.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Oh, Staradaj.
Started, okay.
Okay, so just to correct my, who I got the email from, Kingston Forward, Engage Kingston sent out the notification that the charrette summary report for the rezoning is available. And then you can read the summary and you can give survey, and you can fill out a survey. And I believe all those things are on Engage Kingston.
Yeah, there,
So,
yeah, there's a lot
we
there now.
encourage you to, give feedback on that.
This came from
So if you-
Engage Kingston. From the Kingston
Pardon?
Forward. The email came from Engage Kingston.
Right.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. It may have gone into my spam folder, or I don't know, maybe I didn't get it. Doesn't matter. As long as we have
Okay.
the documents. Posted
All right, great.
to Engage.
And, okay, and then is there any update from the city tree planting grant support,
Not
which is
for me.
different? Me neither.
Wasn't mentioned at the tree commission meeting.
Okay. City plan review.
You want me to be
Engage
removing
Kingston.
that city tree planting grant support from the agenda?
Yeah, unless they need help in the spring or something that we could do, but
Okay.
city plan review, the Flatbush Foxhole, I think. Helen, do you want to talk about
Yeah,
your
I do.
roundabout?
Yes, me and my roundabouts.
Your roundabout.
So I'm in a constructive conversation with Greg Krupp. I'm hoping to actually go and do what I really want to do is go there with him and get him to explain to me why he thinks they need to knock out the Sunoco gas station. Because my belief is that there are ways of making mini roundabouts where you're actually you don't require any extra space as long as there's room for the traffic to get through. It's simply a matter of who gives way to whom and signage and stuff like that. I've also want to ask him what trucks are doing coming through there anyway. It's part of the whole sort of crazy route that Route 32 takes through the city of Kingston, which makes no sense at all.
Right.
And I believe much of the problem with the mini roundabout would be alleviated by just making it so that trucks could not turn left or right onto Foxhall or Elmendorf, because there's no reason for them to do so. It should just be a straight through to Albany, if at all. So anyway, I'm working on that, and I think there's it feels like, there's some sort of European fixes to this problem that perhaps haven't been considered. So keep you updated.
That's great. Thank you.
Good.
Hmm.
And I really like that article that's Simon Strauss shared, so pointing out that they're actually environmentally much preferable too.
Mhm.
I would like to
Yep.
see many roundabouts in Kingston. So maybe that's going to become my thing. Who knows?
Sounds good. Yeah, and then the pedestrian bike master plan. I know Julie sent an email today about the presentation,
Right.
and on the
mhm.
18th, is
Mhm.
that right?
Yeah. One thing with that is they didn't get the biggest turnout on the survey. And Barton and LeJudas and Emily Flynn would like more people. I think Tom Robinson from Barton and LeJudas, I think they indicated they had 115 people and they would like to have somewhere more than 300. they feel the 300 is a number that would have more of a cross section. At 115, you may be getting the usual suspects. So, yeah, I've been
Okay.
sending it out. Julie sent it out. Emily sent it out. Emily Flynn rather, and it's yeah. Hopefully, people will fill it out. If you haven't looked at it on Engage Kingston, the crowdsourcing app is also, if you don't want to, you have to log in to do the survey. And if you're uncomfortable doing that for whatever reason, there's a crowdsourcing app. And all you have to do is type in, I'm going from here to there, and note the problem that you found. Or you didn't find a problem, which a lot of people don't. They just went from here to there and they got there safely, and that's the end of their story. Other people ran into, you know, the drama and more drama, and they noted it in the app. So it's a cool feature. It shows where you are and where the problem is and where you were going to. So,
How long do we have to take the crowdsourcing app?
oh, you can do that. They're going to keep that open, and they're going to keep the survey open. They're going to move forward with the public hearing, gather more data from that, and then keep reviewing this as it comes in. And I guess they figure when the weather gets a little warmer, they might get more people out and filling out the app. They have quite a few
Yeah.
responses on the app already. I didn't count them though. Some of them are right on top of each other, and you'd have to really, zoom out to get the, bigger than your computer screen to figure it out. We'll leave that for Barton and LeJudas. But it's a cool feature.
But it's good to like today where it was completely icy and you didn't want to walk anywhere. I guess you could
Right.
have some real issues. So,
Yeah.
okay. Wow. All right. Well, that's again something we can. We're not planning on putting any comments on this from as a group, or is that something we should consider for the bike master plan, the pedestrian and bicycle master plan? We don't have to do that, right? Okay,
We can, but somebody will have to organize it and get it.
right. Okay, well, let us know. So, but I encourage everyone to go on the 18th, which is in 1 week, correct? A week from tonight, and it's a Zoom?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have to register?
There's probably going to be something. I don't know if Emily sent me the link yet.
I think it,
Gotta
well,
be
there's
something
this
like
flyer.
this, where you become an attendee, and if you wanted to speak, you'll have to be promoted to panelist or something. They're going to have a protocol for this.
No, they have a QR code to access the meeting. That's all it says. So
A QR
I
code.
guess you just have to show up.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And then, so anything, I'm going to move on to the Golden Hill development. We were informed by the city planner that the planning board is going to be is formally going to be the lead agency. And they gave us, the link to all the documents. Did everyone get that? Because I didn't check the email list.
I got that.
Yeah.
And
I'm not
also,
I'm not
just-
sure. I'll have to go look.
just so people
Okay.
know, there is a webinar link for the pedestrian and bicycle master plan meeting.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, I see it on a Facebook event, but I assume that it's cross-posted to like Engage Kingston and the city website.
Yeah, but it's not a registration, like pre-register. Yeah.
No,
Okay. Yeah, there, okay. Thank you. Anything else on the housing, the Golden Hill? I think we're just watching it now, right?
Yeah, we'll have to go through the documents and see, stuff that's within scope.
So when should we be doing that?
No, they have it on the agenda, but I don't know whether, they're pretty early on in the process. So I don't think there's been a DEIS or any of that, or, even any determination as to type 1 or what have you yet,
Mhm.
or unlisted, whatever it's going to be. It would seem to be either type 1, I would think. Could be unlisted, it depends, but once that
But I
determination
think we'd
is
be,
made,
we're
then,
gonna be more interested when they actually start.
yeah, when they
doing
set a
site.
date for a public hearing and public comment period, and we can send stuff in, separately or at the hearing, and I'm sure they'll take it if we do it within the comment period.
Okay. So keep that in mind, and if you want some reading material, that is there. Okay, are there any, I'm just gonna ask you, are there anything on 6585 East Strand?
No. I didn't see it
Is
on,
that-
they just came out with the planning board agenda, but I didn't see it there. I did see 191 to 199 Hurley, Kingston Meadows. They're on the agenda, maybe with a response, on the secret negative declaration that they've been kicking around from, back in the day when they got that, and whether it's still valid.
Okay, I know I've already asked this question, I'm gonna ask again.
Hmm?
Should we be sending something in to just say we are, or did we already do that? I thought we did it with East Strand. Did we do it for both? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for Hurley Avenue, we'll have to wait and see if they reopen secret or if they accept whatever the applicant submits as that it's okay, that the negative deck from, 8 or 9 years ago is still valid.
Yep.
One or the other. They'll make the determination, and if they do make the determination, if there's the secret has to be reopened due to new sets of facts over the 9-year period, then there'll be an open comment period at some point. Then we jump in.
Yeah. All right, Sebastian's not here, so we'll skip item I. J is the CAC year-end report.
Hold on, sorry. I do have something on water quality. I just wanted
Oh, okay.
to, not on septic code review, but on water quality in general, I just wanted to let everyone know that I applied to a program that is being run through the DEC, where in the Hudson River Estuary program watershed boundaries, the DEC is going to be doing some stream assessments. And they put out a request for applications for streams that are currently unassessed. And so you can see which streams are assessed and unassessed on the website, on the Hudson Valley Resource Mapper, I think it's called. And it turns out that the Rondout, our very own, is not assessed, nor are the tributaries into our community of the Rondout. And so I sat on a webinar to understand more about it. It turns out only 3 streams total are going to be assessed over the next 2 years, but I submitted. And so there's nothing gained, nothing lost. There's no financial commitment. There's no commitment on our part, but we get the data out of it if they choose to assess the Rondout. And so we could be the recipient of that data if they end up assessing it. And so I just
That's great.
Good.
Thanks for
I'm
doing
delighted
that.
to hear that because I think the Rondout is polluted with raw sewage. I've definitely seen signs of that up
Yep.
near oh, I can't remember, but it's slightly out of Kingston. There's a boat landing on Route 213.
In
and-
Eddyville?
Yes, Eddyville. Thank you. And my microbiologist mother trained me to identify algae that was of the particular kind that feeds on human sewage, and there was definitely some visible there. So I would love to see the result of that.
Mhm. Do
I
you know
guess-
if the town of Esopus put that in too? Because that would help,
I
right?
don't know. So I get
Or
the
the
way
town
that
of
it works is
Ulster.
that you were allowed to put in your top three, which is, I think is very funny because we're only choosing 3 total. But I only put in the Rondout because
So you didn't put in the
It's
Tofts
pretty darn important.
Creek or, yeah. Is this 3 in the Hudson Valley or 3 in the county?
3 in the
3 in-
entire Hudson River Estuary Program watershed boundary.
Oh, gosh, okay.
I know, right? It's funny because we were on the
Yeah, well, then we
webinar.
should,
Yeah.
maybe we should get Esopus to. Is it too late for Esopus to?
It's due on the 12th,
Put that
which is
in.
literally tomorrow.
Yeah,
The thing is, we are the largest water body
right.
that is unassessed in that entire area. So our chances are pretty high if they go by volume.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know what I'll find out, but
And this would just be tidal Rondout in the city. We're not
yes,
going beyond the Eddyville Dam or, okay.
because that's the stretch that is unassessed.
Mhm.
Right. I think, yeah. I do want to say that I was on on the 13th, of December, I was on the Water Quality Coordinating Committee meeting. And the sewage treatment plant came up, and the health department seems to be interested in looking at that. And I just thought that was interesting that they didn't seem to be going to the source. As opposed, like contacting the city to find out more about it. So, but I can follow up on that with you, Julie. And yeah. So, okay, so then let's go on to the year-end report. I always think that's really interesting because you can see what we've done. And it seems like we do a lot of talking at these meetings, but there is action happening.
Yeah, thanks everyone for sending me everything. I did add, even though I said yesterday, this is the one you're going to be reviewing. There's one more organizational liaison that was added. So letter Y under organizational liaisons now says Ulster County Water Quality Coordinating Committee. And I will just say that that list alone is very impressive to me. There's 25 organizations that the very small group of people here are liaising with. And I think that that's really impressive and shows a lot of clout for this council. So
well, if you want a Z, you could add the League of Women Voters Mid-Hudson. I wasn't sure, I didn't put that in, right?
you told me that, but I didn't add it. Would you consider that an environmental organization?
I would, in the sense that we've been involved with, we had someone from our president went to the climate thing in
Summit.
wherever it was, Norway. Where was it? Yeah. And so
mean in
we're very
Glasgow?
in Glasgow. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, COP25.
Yes. And And we have always been involved in like solid waste and stuff, so.
I-
it's-
I'm happy to add it. It doesn't matter to me. I don't want to use discretion. So what's the official name
Yeah.
again?
The Legal Women Voters of the Mid-Hudson Region. And then we could, next year, we'll try for starting the Greek alphabet after the regular alphabet.
Yeah, let's not get to Omicron though.
No. Mm.
Okay, so was there anything else that you wanted me to add? I mean, if you can't tell, obviously the lion's share of most of it is just language that I copy year to year, and I just change a couple things. If you want a different format or something else, I'm happy to. This is just the easiest way for me to do it. But
What's the window for review, Julie?
I mean, we're just supposed to put one out every year, and so, and frankly, I look back into previous years, and this is earlier than we normally do it, which is great. So we're ahead of schedule.
Yeah,
So
there's no
but
deadline.
I do want to, there's no deadline, except that we need to be doing it, and I want to close it at some point. So,
Okay, thank you. Good to know.
yeah. So just, you all can tell me what you want me to do next.
Helen, are you offering to edit it a little bit, or do you want to?
Full confession, I haven't even had a chance to look at it. I've been having quite a hectic week, but I would like to review it, you know, as your professional editor resource. I would very much like to review it and maybe suggest some edits, but I'm sure it's very good as it is. But yeah, I'll review it before the end of the week for sure.
Great.
I don't think there's any like really exciting pictures or anything.
Oh, it's not exciting. It is not exciting at all. It is the bare minimum. It is like regurgitating Kevin's minutes in a really truncated version. It is not flashy. It is not sexy in any way. It is literally just the bare minimum of this is what we worked on. And if anyone wants to make it sexier than that, feel free to do it. This is the text.
Because we don't actually know if anyone reads it.
No.
So,
but
It actually is, it is sexy, Julie, because you mentioned honeybee queen insemination in
Oh
there.
my goodness. You totally are right. Holy cow, it's totally sexy.
uh-oh.
I don't know if anyone reads it, but per our establishing resolution that establishes the CAC, we need, this is a literal formality. So I would say then if anyone wants to get any comments, I am not going to look at it between Friday of this week and Thursday of next week. So I can revisit it next Friday. So you can have until next Thursday at 5 p.m. to get me comments.
Okay,
If I don't hear anything by the 21st, I'm going to assume if you're adopting it or whatever. Well, I don't know what you want to do. Do you want to adopt it or do you want to wait until next week, next month? That's
I'm
up to you.
fine with waiting till February.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give Helen a chance to peruse it.
All right.
Yes, please. That would be great.
Okey-doke. Do you have a copy of it, right? Can't hear you.
You sent one yesterday, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, I
Yes.
got it. Okay.
Okay. Now there's a Y and a Z on the liaisons, but that's it.
And,
Okay.
okay, so then the CAC website updates, that was everyone's bio, correct?
Yep, I got that from everyone.
photos.
I will say I haven't heard from Sebastian. I haven't gotten a bio. I haven't gotten a picture. I didn't hear from him from this meeting.
Oh.
He didn't give me.
Yeah,
any
I'll follow
stuff
up with Sebastian.
For the year-end report.
I'm not sure I sent you a bio, but you could probably just reuse the old one. I haven't done anything.
Your old bio is there. If you don't send me anything else, it's just gonna be
Yeah,
the bio
just-
that's there.
Okay, then
And the
I
picture
think
is
it's
there.
good. I think you have a picture, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Thank you all for sending me all that.
Okay, then the New York Site Climate Action Council draft scoping plan came out on December 30th. And this was in regards to the climate leadership and Community Preservation Act, which I know I just slaughtered that, but anyway, something like that, Klipka. And anyway, and there I think there are I think it's 120 days, 4 months to give comments. And it's 350 pages plus the total document is 800 with all the appendices. And it covers everything. So there's no reason to, I mean, it has very specific chapters. And there are specific ones that we might be interested in, like forestry and reforestation and afforestation and forests in general, and then land use, and then climate resilience. There's one on waste. All of those you might be interested in reading and commenting on, and we could either, again, we could do that as a group or individually. And it also is kind of, yeah, because what it will do is it will again serve to be a map for a roadmap for us to follow to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and, improve equity and things like that. And also, and then there could be follow-ups with funding and things like that that could affect us as a group in a city and so on.
Okay.
Has anyone had a chance to look at it at all?
Downloaded
will.
it. That's as far as I got.
Well, I was really excited to see that there was a very specific mention of funding the CACs and environmental commissions. And I attended one of the only in-person meetings that I've attended in a really long time, I guess this summer, and Mark Lowry of the Climate Office was there as a speaker, and I made that suggestion to him at that meeting. So I'm not taking credit for that, but I'm really excited to see that it was put in, someone put it in from somewhere. And the reason I suggested it is that we're really lucky. We have a paid staff that does a lot of the work for us, but there's all the towns, everyone applies for grants and does GIS and does all this stuff and writes the grants and so on themselves, and with almost no funding. Like the town of Esopus has a paid secretary, and it would be nice to have a paid secretary, even though we love Kevin. And so, anything, I mean, the CAC has a lot to say about zoning or land use, and the municipalities have control of land use, and we're basically very under supported. But anyway, other than that, really good suggestions. They're very general because they can't put everything in, or, and, you could dig way down deeper in some of in most of the proposals.
Emily, do
and
you
it's
know if they touch much on transportation, in particular freight transportation? Is that within the scope of this? Sorry, I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, but I probably I didn't read that section. Yes, but there is, I believe there is transportation
Cool.
is involved. Yeah.
I mean, at some point, because logistics and freight transportation is my background. At some point, I'd like to generate a discussion about whether we, as an advisory council, want to get interested in those areas as well, because it does seem to fall within our remit. But anyway, I just want to put that out there.
And are you aware about the exhibit at the Hudson River Maritime Museum on sail freight?
No, oh my goodness. Oh, I must go and see that. Wow,
Oh, yeah, because
fantastic.
there's a webinar
Yeah.
there's a webinar coming up.
Oh, okay, thank you. That's
Because
great
there
to
was
know.
a sailboat that sailed freight this summer,
Yeah,
and there's,
Uh-huh.
and I think the whole exhibit this year, anyway, definitely.
Oh, thank
check-
you for that,
read the
Emily. Yeah, I'll
newsletter, check out the
definitely,
website.
great, thank you.
Electricity industry. Yeah, there is a transportation section. Yes.
I'll pay particular attention to that then. Thank you.
Yeah. And
Okay, and that again is also like all between now and in 120 days. So there's a lot going on for us if you want to be involved in that. So are there any communications? Okay. Any announcements and events? I guess the one is the pedestrian and bicycle master plan and the Hudson River Maritime. There's all sorts of stuff going on. Did anyone watch the one on weed blowers or whatever they're called?
leaf blowers.
Okay. Leaf blowers. Yeah. I want to go back and look at that.
While we are talking about announcements and things, I am going to be unavailable on February 8th. That doesn't mean that the meeting can't go on. It just means that Emily will need to be made host, if that is okay with everyone.
I know, I think I'm not going to be available on the 8th either. And it just dawned on me. Yeah.
So we can either move it or
I was
Sebastian would be
thinking,
vice
I
chair.
wasn't thinking. First of all, did we decide we were going to continue meeting on the second Tuesday?
Oh, right, that's normally decided at the first meeting of the year.
Yeah,
We did discuss it was okay, I think, for everyone.
Yeah, what, the first meeting that all the folks were on, I think that discussion was had, but we do normally have that discussion reevaluation at the first meeting.
yeah.
But if, yes.
I'm happy to continue.
yeah, I think so.
That
And-
works for me, but I'm
Yeah, same.
flexible.
Yeah, I'm very flexible.
Okay, and then. So with that though, it turns out that I can't be there on the 8th. And
Okay.
Julie can't be there on the 8th of February because I scheduled something a long time ago and it didn't occur to me that it was the second Tuesday. Are people available on the 15th, which is 1 week later?
On a Tuesday, it should be okay.
Okay,
Up on this calendar program.
I've got
I'm
Kevin,
I'm
yes.
available, yeah.
Julie,
8th, the day after Valentine's Day, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm scheduled for a webinar from 5 to 6:30.
Oh, okay.
you could come late.
Okay. I think it's
just
one of the
have
things
to-
I signed up for about wildlife and endangered species and things.
That's great. And you just can walk across the room or just like get up and stretch and sit back down.
Yeah.
So
Be
you could
glad to
have two
do that.
screens going. And what about you, Ted?
Yeah, that works for me.
All right. So Julie, can you do all the stuff that,
Yep, so
Makes
move,
sense,
so
so-
move the February 8th meeting to February 15th, same time.
And we'll leave the second Tuesday sort of as the standing date until we hear otherwise, right?
yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
I have an event on the horizon. If we're still on events,
Can I just finish one thing on the calendaring?
sure.
So I am not going to send you all a calendar invite because I don't want to clog up your calendars, and the number of times that I've had to like add something, cancel something, and then I get a note from one of you that's like, why is this canceled? And so
Yeah.
assume it's fine. Assume I am not going to send you a calendar invite. However, you need to go into your emails and get that calendar invite from everyone's clear that that needs to happen, right? So in theory, the one that you got from Summer already should be the one that is recurring for good.
So the
However, you're
link
going
and
to need to
everything
make a
is
note
the
in your
same?
own brain that she's going to need to send us another one, which is fine. I will have her send us another single invite for the 15th.
But is the link the same every time? Okay,
I don't know, you'll have to look.
I
Should
think,
But it'll
it-
yeah,
be in
it
a-
should
I think
be
it probably
the
is, yeah.
the invite from Summer says this is the link for the following meetings, and then it goes right through the year, I think.
Right,
Okay,
so I don't know
great.
if she's going to then change the one from the 8th to the 15th, or if she's going to just, we'll just disregard the 8th and she'll send another for the 15th, I don't know.
Mhm.
I just know that
Yeah.
I'm not going to be sending you a calendar invite, so if you don't put it in your calendars, that's all on all of you.
All right.
I'm not sure I got that from her. I did get an invite to the tree commission.
What day did you all say? she
Right,
sent
and
it on?
I
The
did
first?
too.
January
On the
So she
3rd,
third.
may,
January 3rd.
yeah, in the morning, 9:21 a.m.
Okay, let me go search.
so wait,
for it.
but what if you don't? Does Julie need to follow up or does someone else? Or should
Yeah.
I, or?
No, I mean, Anita, if you don't have it, you can either directly reach out to Summer and ask her, or you just let me know and I will do that.
Okay,
But you do have to take the action of putting it into your calendar yourself.
I
I
don't
hope-
use a calendar.
Yeah, that's gonna be a problem.
Well,
Yeah.
there is a Google Calendar, so if you have a
Okay.
Gmail, you have a calendar.
Yeah, you can
Okay,
do that.
You
Yeah,
don't have to put it anywhere as far as we're concerned. You just have to remember where to be when.
yeah.
Right.
You just have, yeah, you could just copy and put it in a document. That would be a good idea, actually.
My
Okay,
com-
Ted, you were, up.
Yeah, go ahead, Ted. Yeah, go ahead.
So this is preliminary because it's for March 30th, so I'll have more details as it comes up. But BARD Graduate Programs and Sustainability is putting on like an all-day, they're calling it a worldwide climate teach-in at BARD March 30th. And there's like hundreds of participating universities around the world, schools too, elementary, middle, high schools. But it's organized by the office I work for, and the idea is you have basically panels all day on different topics, and it's just a worldwide event. So the one at BARD, they are interested in having some local panelists, and the most relevant thing I could think about Kingston in terms of climate change is all of the sea level rise work that's been done and the waterfront development, which I have a pretty good background on. I was on some different project advisory committees for that, but I'm not an expert, so I might be reaching out for ideas, or I was thinking, Kevin, you probably know a lot of people who are involved in that. So that's just, I'll send out more information when I have it. And of course, you're all welcome to come too.
Might be something, Julie, we want to mention at the Climate Smart meeting.
About the teach-in?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
There
that I've
could be
seen
somebody
something.
from that, yeah, somebody from there may want to attend too.
Yeah, Ted, do you have a link or something? Is there like a thing?
I don't know if it's
Oh,
up
you're
yet.
still putting it together, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So We'll do
So we'll know
that
better in February.
next meeting.
And
yeah.
I'm not directly involved. I was supposed to be more directly involved in planning it, but some things have shifted. So I'm kind of just offered up my knowledge of like local efforts and people in my network. So I'll update you all when I have more information. I was actually thinking Sebastian might be a good speaker for that too. He's also a graduate of the program, so it'd be nice to have an alumni directly involved in. But I don't know if is he more involved in like water quality and stuff. Okay, well, we'll see.
Great.
So we on to reports and updates. Sorry, oh, there she is. Sorry.
Yeah. There was something that I read in the climate action scope that I thought was really interesting that I've now forgotten. So, oh, the other thing about in the land use, I think they do talk more about sequestration in wetlands and, you know, and versus forests. And so the Kingston has a very large freshwater tidal wetland. And I know that the agency that I used to work for is continuing to look at that as if it's if it sequesters or gives off greenhouse gases. So anyway, that was an interesting tidbit in there. Okay. Okay, thank you, Ted. And yeah, reach out. No other events that I can think of. So we can go to updates. Complete streets.
Yeah, so there wasn't a meeting this month. The next meeting is February 8th, so that's good because it will now actually be before our next meeting. I have a proposition though. Sorry, I'm kind of sneaking this in, and perhaps I should have put it under business. Forgive me. That article that we got today about fixing the sidewalks by making people get a certificate of a fit sidewalk when they sell their houses. Did everybody see that?
Oh,
Mm.
I missed that.
I did. I responded to all of you.
Yeah, I maybe was working.
Sorry,
and
doesn't matter. So
Check.
basically the
Get to it.
now where the hell is it?
Let's see.
Now of course I can't find it. So maybe I just made it up. There was this really interesting I'll forward it to you all, but it was basically that what had been done in another town, I can't remember which one it was. I'm really making this compelling, I can tell, was basically in order to fix the sidewalk problem. Oh, you know what? It must have been on the Complete Streets chain. Right. So this is an update from Complete Streets.
Okay.
In order to fix the sidewalk program, this city passed an ordinance or whatever, I don't know exactly what form it took, that insisted that in order to complete the sale of a house, you had to have an inspection from the city that your sidewalk was in order. And the genius of it is, I mean, it doesn't solve the whole problem because there are gaps and there are places where there are no sidewalks and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But what this article pointed out was the genius of it is it's when people are getting money from the sale of their house. So, you know, if they're ever going to have a couple of $1,000 to spend on the sidewalk, on fulfilling their legal obligations, by the way, then this is good time to hit it. And also that this city set up a program where if you want to do it before you sell your house, they will come and do it for you, and then you can pay them later out of the proceeds from the sale of your house. So it turns the city somewhat into a, you know, they're loaning money, but it compared the amount of money that the average city spends on liability suits for people tripping on the sidewalk. I mean, it's such a classic case of short-term thinking. Anyway, so I'm very excited about this and have already suggested to the Complete Streets Committee that they immediately propose this to the City of Kingston as a new law ordinance. I don't see any reason to hesitate at all. So I will let you know what happens. And
Yeah, we
I'll
could
copy you in
always-
on the email as well.
Do you know how
Mhm.
that would interface with the sidewalk code where they're, they were going to use the Ithaca plan, where there was going to be a small tax and then you weren't responsible for the sidewalk anymore? The city would fix it?
What sort of progress has that made? Do you know?
Gee, I thought this
I'll
was.
ask them about it. So it's I don't know anything about that.
It's the
That's-
sidewalk improvement district you're talking about?
Yeah, the sidewalk improvement districts, yeah.
Okay.
I had attended a couple of those meetings, but Lorraine Farina, when she was on the CAC, attended a lot more than I did.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, but I don't think the two would in any way be mutually exclusive. There's going to be, I think if you use that sort of Ithaca style tax to fund the people who can't afford it or whatever, anyway, but
Right, because, yeah,
Well,
the one you're
Ithaca-
proposing is
yeah.
only when there's a sale,
right. But
which
apparently
could happen for 30 years.
well, apparently there's an average of 25% turnover every 11 years or something,
Right.
so surprise. So is it ideal? No, but once people start to, I think there's a general sense that once people start to do this, and also if there are fewer sidewalks that are out of, respectable condition, then it's
Fine.
going to be easier for the city to actually enforce the law. Because at the moment, what would they do? Send out 20,000 citations? It's not going to work.
I think that was what they were discussing, and the solution was the Ithaca plan, where they wouldn't send out anything. The city would be responsible, but they would come and do it for you because you paid the tax for it. So there was money held,
That sounds
Trust
great. I
fund.
just want to see something happen, anything.
Yeah. Let me find the link to it and see.
Thank you, Kevin. That's
Yeah.
really interesting.
Okay.
Okay, planning board liaison.
Okay, yeah, we'll get that link later. Okay, let's move on to.
Oh,
planning.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there were a couple of things that did come up besides, we discussed 6585, no action there. And then we discussed Hurley, which is going to be Hurley Avenue with a rear with Kingston Meadows, which will be on it. There's a couple of things that came up. There was somebody came to the Landmarks Commission representing a real estate developer from Orange County. Not Orange County, Rockland County rather. And they want to do a development on a Beale Street. There's an old synagogue there that's presently the Seventh-day Adventist church, and they're selling it to this developer. They're going to keep the property, the religious building, and convert it to apartments and maybe some light commercial, restaurant or something like this. But next to it, there's empty lots and they want to build on it. So that bears some watching because there are, there's hills and slopes and Rondout. And we saw what happened with the Irish Cultural Center, how that.
Yeah.
So this bears some watching. It's they're going to the planning board for the initial, presentation on this coming week.
Is the Irish
So are
Cultural
they
Society?
reusing the building?
Oh, it's an adaptive reuse. Yeah. And they're going to fix there's a really interesting window in the center, like a Romanesque big
Yeah.
round window. And they were originally going to take that out. We convinced them not to do that. So they're already amenable to making some changes. So yeah,
So
I think that's going to be okay. It's what they're going to do on the empty lots that would bear watching because it's new construction and,
Is the Irish Cultural Center completely dead then?
not on any agenda that I've seen.
Okay, I'm just curious. It's just
I
a,
mean,
it's just a hole in the ground, isn't it?
The
Yeah.
hole is literally dead in the water, if you go past there, but, yeah. I think there was one other planning item, and I gotta find the agenda for that to grab that. Here it is, Kingston Planning Board agenda. Let's see, besides that, oh, yeah. 200 and 202 West Chestnut and 2 to 16 Montrepose is back. That's Andrew
Oh.
Wright. You remember that? They're back. I don't have all I have is an agenda, so I do not know what exactly they're doing there. But that would bear some watching as well.
Can you tell us a little bit? Oh, shall I speak to you offline, Kevin? I'd love to know more.
Oh, I could briefly, yeah, Andrew Wright had a proposal for this site. I think he called it Park Slope. Yeah, and it didn't fly.
You
Yeah,
could show
it's-
it on, you can show it on the parcel mapper if you want. It's,
Yeah,
I didn't realize it had a West
Take a
Chestnut
look.
address.
yeah, and it also has a small stream running through the property, which was at some point in the 19th century connected to a reservoir that was formerly there that serviced Rondout. Interesting. So, yeah, that we'll have to follow that up and look at it as soon as.
So
there's-
that's basically across from the school that is an
Yeah,
apartment
the Ulster
building.
Academy, and it's across
Yeah, the
from,
Ulster Academy.
yeah, Greg Shaheen lives over there. It's across from him too, and, yeah. So we'll follow up, see what Andrew is doing. It looks like a lot line adjustment that they're going for.
That's still on the table, though.
Yeah, it's on the table, but what are they doing the lot line adjustment for? Right, so we won't find that out till we get the meeting package, which Sue and Kyla haven't sent that out yet. So we'll be looking for that, but I don't think I'll be on the actual meeting. Usually I go back to Zoom because what's going to happen at that meeting is the same day as the pedestrian bicycle plan. So I'm part of the project committee for that, so I have to be on that. And so we'll follow up with the planning at a later date and report back in February, unless there's something urgent. Then I think we're
Okay.
done with planning for the moment.
Okay, Ted, public safety.
I did not attend public safety. And I'm checking, I thought maybe it was canceled or I just forgot.
It could have been because it was around the holidays, right?
Yeah, I think that it was canceled, but I'm double checking. But yeah, I had no update from me. Let's see. Public safety.
20.
While you all are looking that up, if anyone is a representative to a committee, just be sure that, or particularly, maybe this only applies to public safety, but now that it's the new year, there's a new composition, and they could choose new dates. I don't know who the new chair is, so things might be different now that it's new council.
It looks
Were
like they
those
did
chairs announced?
meet.
Yeah, and it's on the website.
They might have announced the new chairs. I have to look and see. Common Council.
Yeah, so they did meet. It looks like they discussed on the agenda just some mostly handicap signage. So sorry, I'll attend the next one.
See who they have there. Yeah, they have it. It's still Tony is the chairperson, Tony Davis. And Ted, you probably have to confirm how they're going to handle the Zoom to make sure that you can appear as a panelist, so you can speak. I had a situation the last time I did it where they had something like that and I couldn't speak and I was just locked out of the meeting. Could hear them, but they wouldn't let me in because they didn't recognize my phone number.
Okay, I'll reach out to
Yeah.
Tony then.
Yeah.
Do they have is it just Tony or do they have like a staff person at that meeting?
Sometimes Alyssa Tinty.
Well,
Okay.
Summer's a host for everything.
Right, right. Well, yeah, should be the official host, but.
But you should go through Tony,
Yeah.
Okay,
Tony.
and Tony will take care of what needs to take care of with the right person.
And
Gotcha.
the other people there are Barbara Hill, Michael Oliveri, he's Ward 7. Namia Muhammad, I think Ward 4, I think. And Michelle from Ward 9.
Naima is Ward 5.
Ward 5, okay.
Rita is Ward 4.
It is, okay, I got them backwards, sorry. Yeah.
and are we expected to give an update or are we really just there if there's like something relevant? Are we like, what is the role of being a, because I know Kevin, you said before you don't have to go for the full meeting.
No. Typically, if you contact Tony ahead of time, he'll schedule you first, so you can be in and out literally in 5 minutes, plus whatever questions they have. And I can probably send you a really rough copy of the minutes.
But do you have to give them an update if it's not relevant to their committee?
It is
Uh,
relevant. That's why you're
it
attending.
is. It
No,
is.
I
So
know.
even though they have a weird name,
Yeah,
so we want them to know what we're doing and that we're working hard. And so like there was always, I think there was, we always talked about the air quality. I don't know, Kevin did it, but so you can bring up, even remind them that we endorsed the idling thing that came about, because they may not even know about that if they weren't on the council, and the other stuff we're working on. But yeah,
okay,
and that's why you want to get on before they start worrying about handicap signs,
yeah,
and then you can leave.
yeah. And
So-
not to say that I know there are obvious public safety connections to our work. I was just wondering what like the expectation was.
Well, I think that their committee is.
They'll do a good job.
Title is Public Safety and General Government.
Right. We are not the liaison to them because of the public safety part. We are to them because of the general government part.
General Government,
And,
yeah.
and really our goal is to make sure that, for instance, if we're working on something that eventually will have legislation, that they're not hearing about it for the first time when the legislation comes forward. So for instance, when you go there, you'll talk to them about the fact that they're working on a community preservation plan. So they'll hear about it month after month until it's time for them to vote on it. And then it'll be like, oh yeah, we've been hearing about this already.
Okay, great.
And ideally it will be a dialogue. It's not usually a dialogue. Ideally it would be we're working on this, and they would come with questions or things they think we should work on or whatever. That doesn't typically happen. It's usually just a presentation of, a brief presentation, and not formal. You don't need any slides or anything like that, but it's just like, hey, I'm here from the CAC. This is what we're doing.
Okay.
And
It's one of the few city meetings I've never watched or attended, so I should know more about it. I guess maybe I'll catch one on YouTube.
And also when we finish our annual report, it's a good thing to tell them that we did it and that here's
Yeah.
where they can find it, or
Yes.
give them a copy they could pass around or something. So,
yes, they are the reason we need to do the annual report.
Thanks.
okay, climate zoning committee. I think we did that already.
Uh,
Do we have
yeah,
anything more?
no, actually, there really isn't a zoning committee anymore. I mean,
Right.
once Dover Cole came into the picture, the only thing that sort of resembles the zoning committee is the code reform group, which is Anthony Tampone Jr., Tanya, and Erica Brown, and a long list of other people. But I'm not sure that's a formal group. And it's certainly not a city agency or a city board.
Yeah, no, the zoning committee was to find someone to
Yeah, to hire Dover.
do
Cole
the
for an
rezoning, which
alternative.
ended up to be Dover Cole.
So
Yeah,
do you want me to remove zoning committee from reports and updates?
probably, as long as we have
Yeah, for-
the city plan, we have it under city plan review, right? Or-
We
no,
have it under old
separate
business.
item.
I could either
Separate
eliminate it
item.
under old business, or I could eliminate it under reports and updates.
Yeah, because what I'm doing in the minutes, I'm just putting C above under old business, and then
Right.
when we discuss it under citywide Kingston Forward, citywide zoning, yeah.
Right, so then maybe it should be discussed under reports and updates, because there's not actually action that's happening every month on that. Well, I don't know, that's up to Emily, really.
Yeah, yeah, if you don't have it under old business, I'll report on it.
I think it should be an old business.
Okay, so I'll keep it under old business and I will remove it from reports and updates.
Right. But I'll probably still be one of the point people unless somebody else happens to see Dover Cole before I do, and.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, climate smart. Oh, I will find the minutes to climate smart. Climate smart Kingston.
Did you
Uh,
meet because it was Christmas?
Yes, we met. Julie, I have the minutes. I've had them for a while. It just haven't sent them. That's all. I'll just run you through it quickly. Let's see. Ellie Gartenstein presented the 2020 greenhouse emissions inventory. DPW was the highest greenhouse gas emitter. And Julie reported on the Andy Murphy Center and the solar roof project, which is going to start in 2022. I'm not sure when, but probably not in the winter, right? Not going to do solar in the winter, are we, Julie?
They said that they are,
They are. Oh, okay.
but
Okay.
I'm not in contract with the state yet, so. can't-
Okay. All right. No, yeah. Yeah, Ellie ran us through a lot of data on emissions, but yeah, DPW, because of I think mainly because of the vehicles, was the largest emitter. And there was a drop off in 2020 due to COVID and the sale of City Bus, the Kingston City Bus to the county. And I left the I out of City Bus. There we go. Okay, Julie discussed the city's sustainability projects. Kingston Point Park Phase 2, which I think probably everybody's aware of it by this time, we received $654,000 from the consolidated funding awards from New York State. And the project will go into design in 2022. And the playground at Kingston Point Park Phase 1 will be completed in the spring, this coming spring. We discussed the community preservation plan, but we also discussed that earlier here, so we'll just go right past that. The kayak dock on the Rondout was delayed due to the Wirt Street Bridge construction.
Mhm.
Melissa Ayasheta reported on Repair Cafe and and coordinating it with Sustainable Hudson Valley for a coordinator position. So I think Sustainable Hudson Valley is getting active in this as well. I mean, John was on their board, John Wackman, already before he passed away. So I mean, they were already involved, but I think they're getting more involved with it.
Yep, they did take it on.
Yeah. Okay. And Melissa reported on an update on a mapping project she's been working on with Mana Joe. And this involved 14 other communities. And I believe Sustainable Hudson Valley was also involved with some outreach based upon work that they did, that Cadmus had done in Marbletown, which I'm not familiar with, what they did there. And Betta discussed Green the Grid and provided a link for it, which I can put in the chat just for the purpose of saving time, if anybody wants to go find that. I'm gonna deal with that one. Green the Grid. What else do we have here? Oh, CCA. That's going to be an upcoming thing. Julie, I think you have more information on that than I would. I just had a brief mention in the minutes.
Yeah, once we get the community preservation plan contractor secured, we're gonna be advancing community choice aggregation this year. So that's the goal for 2022. There's a lot behind that, but I have to get the community preservation plan in action before I can start working on that.
And Betta reported on the Green Business Challenge and the county's hired Mike Darcy in the Department of the Environment to work on that. The stretch code was discussed, the New York stretch code. This is the the recent revision to the building code. With regards to inconsistencies between the state code and the local code, which have to be resolved. So there'll be more on that, I imagine, at the next climate meeting. The organics plan, we're still moving forward, right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, we're moving forward. Gee, there was a lot of stuff on this meeting. The New York State Equitable Building Electrification. Okay, Betta, we had submitted a letter to this as a commission, as the Climate Commission, and Betta sent us a link. And it was still open for signatures in December. If individuals want to do it, I'll put that in the link. That's courtesy of Betta. And do you all know who Betta is? Helen or Anita? No. Okay.
I do not. No.
Was on our board. She was a CAC member for quite a few years, and she's still on the Climate Action Commission, Climate Smart Kingston Commission, rather. And she's involved with New Yorkers for Clean Power and does a lot of amazing stuff and on renewables. So, she's,
Mhm.
that might pretty much cover us on that. I think that's it. So we're done with Climate Smart, but it's a lot of stuff. So thank you for bearing with me as I explained it.
You're welcome. And this is similar. I just wanted to say that another thing that started on January 1st is in the state, all large food generators have to start sending their food waste to either a composting facility or an anaerobic digester. So I don't know how that's going to work, but yeah, and this is a statewide thing, and the county had already passed a law like that, but it got delayed because of COVID. But the county is going to phase in smaller generators also. And I think Mike Darcy may get involved in that, but I'm not sure.
Oh.
I think the Office of the Department of the Environment may be involved.
To Emily's point, per the new state legislation, it is generators that are producing 2 tons or more per week of food waste. And in the city of Kingston proper, that applies to 2 businesses. Although in the town of Ulster, there are many. In the city of Kingston proper, the law applies to Hannaford in the plaza and Dysing's Bakery.
No kidding.
Hmm.
So it doesn't, that, not the high school and not the hospital? Dizing's Bakery. Wow.
Dicey's
No
Bakery
kidding.
produces 2 tons or more per week of food waste.
They should start making that bread into beer like Bread Alone is doing. Wow. That's really interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and the solar mapping project I think is really interesting because it was kind of a like Manager Green at Clearwater, and she's a county legislator. She's kind of said, oh, why don't we get a bunch of towns to kind of map our community to see where we should put solar projects, and, you know, and 14 towns jumped on it. And it is a real issue because of, you know, taking away good farmland or cutting down woods and things like that. So it's better to be proactive.
Also, one other third thing went into environmental legislation went into effect on January 1st, and that is the statewide ban of styrofoam.
Hmm.
Styrofoam. Wow.
Interesting.
Does that mean I'll get arrested for having some in my basement?
I think you're probably grandfathered in.
I think, is it all styrofoam or is it food? Is it packing styrofoam?
I
I don't,
so I don't know. I'd have to review the legislation, but I do think so.
How about shipping stuff, you know?
Yeah.
yeah, well, that's what I meant, like
Yeah,
packaging,
I-
yeah.
Like if you get a computer and it's wrapped in styrofoam. I don't know.
Yeah, or like your,
Oh, I
or
was
what
thinking
about
more
your,
about
you know, your,
steaks
yeah, your frozen steaks, right?
or your frozen fish or,
Oh, I do not know. I should have, I don't know. I'll grab the link and put it in the chat.
Because that, yeah, it's
Guys,
also,
I'm really sorry. Is there any chance that we could bring this to a close? I really need
Yeah.
to go. Sorry.
I do too, I'm sorry. So the Ulster County Environmental Management Council didn't meet. And so, and then Anita can talk about the tree commission. And if you, Helen, if you need to go, you can just go.
Oh,
But-
okay. Really? Do you? Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you to all
I'll
of you.
get you the sidewalk stuff.
Yes, please. That would be
Okay.
great. Thank
Okay,
you so
so
much.
great.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Okay, bye.
tree commission, there was one major topic. Planning for, let me see where my notes went. A Henry Street project.
Oh, right.
And the tree commission has already put together a list of trees that they are encouraging that are native, if they can, non-invasive. And then the designer can choose trees, but they've got them separated by height because of wire conditions and things like that. And whether they're dropping fruit, that kind of thing. I was going to send that around to you guys in case you had any other suggestions to contribute
That would be great.
to that list, because they are considering the environmental impacts as well. So it's
Okay, yeah, and that all goes into the sidewalks and whether
right.
you know, they're gonna pick trees that can handle the tight sidewalks, I
Right,
assume.
they've tried to do that. Oh, I know what I really wanted to mention was they took a look at the inventory that was done. And they're recommending not to use maples and the honey locust, because those were the majority of trees that showed up on the survey. So
Oh, so to get some variety.
to get some variety. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I'll send that around to you guys and if you have comments, you can funnel them back through me and I'll get them to the tree commission.
Great, thank you.
Is that just the Norway maples? Or just maples?
No, there's three. There's a red maple, the sugar
Yeah.
maple, and the Norway maple. The Norway maple's the big one.
Yeah, right. I remember that from the tree inventory.
Yeah, and then the honey locust, but there's the other two maples. So they're looking at, I'll send you the list so you can see.
That's great.
And
That's
they've got some
interesting.
recommendations for use just in parks for a number of them where there's, there's space.
Their space, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to thank you all for attending. And I just want to say that these are some next steps that I captured. Kevin's gonna send the Ithaca plan
Yeah.
out to Helen, and there's I'm gonna review the RFP if I can, and
Yeah,
I can't remember
I
if
will
Helen
too.
said she was gonna do that. Everyone can think about people that might want to be on the preservation plan pack. And, and tell Julie if you see anyone that kind of fit into that group she was looking for. Some of you are going to be on the review RFP thing, so that could happen before the next meeting, probably not. And then the master plan, take a look at the bicycle and pedestrian master plan, maybe attend next week. That's all I got. And the meeting's on February 15th.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So can we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion,
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, great. Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Okay. So I've got 8:17, Kevin. So
Yeah, exactly.
it was actually 2 hours with the fiddling around at the beginning. So,
Right. Okay, well,
All right.